Join renowned Pan-African Bishop Joshua Maponga Marara III from Zimbabwe as the keynote speaker at the 9th Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards 2026 and 12th anniversary dinner to be held on the 29th of August 2026 at Munyonyo Peak Resort from 2 p.m. The theme is honoring the humanitarian legacy of Comrade Rajiv Ruparelia. Book your dinner card now on 0757 342 317 or 0782 342 317. This is the true awakening of African Renaissance. Come, let's rekindle our roots. Africa, don't agonize, organize. Powered by Ruparelia Foundation, Fairway Hotel, NBS, Afro Mobile, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG, and Kasukulai.
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
Pan-African Weekly Roundtable with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe, right in Kampala here. This is the Pan-African Roundtable that looks at African issues in the context of Pan-Africanism. We do this without fear or favor every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on NBS television, but also follow us on our YouTube channel, the Pan-African Pyramid, and all our social media platforms, including the TikTok and Facebook. My elder brother here, physically present here, is the usual suspect, Comrade Daniel Rugarama Karuchiko. Rugarama is the chairman of Pan-African Movement Uganda chapter, but is also an international civil rights lawyer, and is a recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Award class of 2024. 24? Comrade, you're welcome.
It's always a pleasure, Ndugu.
How have you been?
Not bad at all.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to tell you that online, from Kampala to Zimbabwe, Harare to be exact, my elder, my mwalimu, my teacher, Comrade Joshua Maponga Marara, who actually will be coming here on 28th. He will be landing here on 28th, ready for Rambo on 29th of August 2026 at Speaker Resort Munyonyo for the 9th PAP Global Awards and the 12th anniversary dinner. My elder comrade from Zimbabwe, I am glad to hear from you this morning.
Greetings to you and all your listeners around the world.
How is Zimbabwe, comrade? Let's begin with Zimbabwe. I heard that you are among the people who have supported the regime to change the constitution from 5-year term to 7-year term, and also to give a leeway to the sitting president to rule Zimbabwe as the way he elects until 2031.
Until 2050 or 2060.
2050.
Yes.
Even parliamentarians also added themselves.
My rationale is very simple, Irumba.
Hey.
Whether it's democracy or it's meritocracy or it is dictatorship or it is the same thing. Acting like kings. They might as well just become kings and they rule forever, but then we hold them accountable to what they're doing. But diplomacy and democracy is just changing hyenas with foxes until you find people like Ibrahim Traore who can be dictators of getting into the system and transforming it. This whole political circus of every 5 years changing, every 5 years changing. When was the last time we changed the king in London? When is the last time we changed the king in Dubai? When is the last time we had elections in Russia? When is the last time we had elections in China? But are those countries not doing better than Africa? The question is, how are they managing to hybridize their governance so that I want to send you a document quickly, Rumba, so that me and you can be
on the same page.
On the same page, yeah.
So
I want to send you something quick.
So what is it that Comrade Mnangagwa can do in these years that you have extended that he has not been able to do in the official year term?
Even when he was with Robert Mugabe.
Or even when he was with Robert Mugabe, because he has been with Robert Mugabe.
Yes.
My brother, let's not become excited. Rulership and governance has to do with power, and the power is not just power; it's power to make decisions. So when you're asking a question, what did he do under Mugabe? Mugabe was the king. He ran the country the way he thought best, fired and hired ministers as he wanted. This one is coming also. He also has his own vision, but what I can tell you on record, and put it on record, why are we saying he must continue? The amount of development that we've seen in Zimbabwe in the past 7 years, we actually asking ourselves the question: what was Mugabe doing in the past 40 years in power? There is a bit of development. Roads are being fixed, hospitals are being fixed, and there is movement. The economy is almost stabilizing. We can't always constantly be in the struggle as Africans, suffering from what I call PCD, permanent campaign disorder. Permanent campaign disorder, where every 5 years you are changing. The first year you are paying the people who put you in office. The second year, the third year, you are just finding out which projects need to be done. On the fourth year, you are preparing for campaign. On the fifth year, full campaign. So how many years are you working?
So in Zimbabwe,
it's a vicious cycle.
So in
It's a
Zimbabwe,
vicious cycle of non-effective function.
so my elder in Zimbabwe, you can say you are doing a copy and paste of what is happening in Burkina Faso and Mali, but you are doing it maybe
My
systematically.
brother, not Zimbabwe only, the whole of Africa. We must actually take the Burkina Faso model. Don't walk around as a politician telling us what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do. We have already put you in power. Do it. Do it. Don't tell us I'm going to build a road, I'm going to build an airport, yeah, I'm going to clean up the streets. That's rubbish.
No,
We've
just
stories
do
for
it.
the past 70 years in Africa of people who promise us what they're going to do. I don't even care who is in power. As long as what you are saying you're going to do it. Mnangagwa says he's going to fix up electricity. Electricity is sorted out. He's going to fix up the roads between Harare and Bedbridge in South Africa. The road is 90% done. He's going to build up a new parliament and put up a new city. He's doing it. So I don't even care who is in power. As long as you tell me what you're going to do, I'll hold you accountable that you must do it. But political power without financial muscle is a playfield of fools.
So should we copy this model of Burkina Faso across Africa?
My brother, if I had power, I would make Ibrahim Traore the president of Africa.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Kagame will be the Minister of Health and Environment. Yes, sir.
And
the Minister of Justice, I'll put Mahama. And Minister of Public Works, I will put Mnangagwa. Minister of International Diplomacy, I'll put Ramaphosa. And the Minister of Youth Development, I'll put Malema. Minister of Women and Social Development, I'll put Arikana Chihombori. Minister of Education and Training, I'll put Lumumba himself.
Pure Lumumba.
And for public relations, I'll put Irumba.
That's the continental cabinet. Irumba is already.
And of course, for culture, I'll put myself.
It's such a serious bedrock.
Where is Museveni? I'm not hearing you. You have not yet finished your list.
What you can also do on your profile, Irumba,
yes.
On the most serious note, it is actually to begin to drive the narrative. If you were to set up an African parliament, can you please tell us who you want to put where and tell us why? And make that a public campaign throughout Africa. Our next set of leaders are these ones for the United Africa.
Yes, let's start working around.
Start that campaign.
Then you have not yet had where you are going to place President Museveni of Uganda. Are you still compiling your list, your cabinet list?
I didn't hear about Uganda.
You have read the cabinet list. I hope you
So
are still
far.
reading. I've not had where you would place President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda.
Yoweri Museveni, let me see. Yoweri Museveni, I'll put him into the National Archives.
An advisor.
As a historian and our portal for the liberation struggle and everything else. I think he's a well-informed old man. Never underestimate that old man.
Yes.
He would not be there if he did not know what he's doing. But he's very informed. And I think in the midst of a democratic system, he is not doing what he really should be doing. And I think the day I will respect Museveni is the day he will visit Ibrahim Traore and find out as an old man, where are you missing it? He's doing well in terms of keeping tabs on resources and etc. But of course, where the system becomes mature, family becomes important, and corruption remains a key issue to the few people that are top in power. And I think for the next, if he has won the elections now, the best thing is just to resolve some of the people that have stolen enough and then recruit new thieves.
I want to give you some good news that President Museveni of Uganda has actually started fixing the corruption. He has appointed very youthful and very hardworking ministers. If you have been on social media, you must have seen Honorable Balamba Rugahara, one of our colleague members in the Pan-African Pyramid, is a minister and is the Minister of Local Government.
Yeah.
He has actually been moving across the country,
Yes.
arresting people.
How many years later did he finally discover here the problem?
40.
How many years later? 30 years now.
40 years, not 30 even. 40. But at least he's on the
Yeah.
right track. He's doing it.
Only now he's beginning to deal with the issues. And I think he's an old man now. He loses nothing. He does not need new friends. The best thing he can do is to make sure that he leaves Uganda in a functional condition. And there's a lot of potential in Uganda. I look at Lake Victoria, I look at the gold, I look at the minerals, I look at the people, I look at the culture. That country is playing way below its belt. Uganda is Dubai. It's a world-class resourced country, and in good management and good network, there's no doubt that Uganda can actually make it become one of the best countries. And above everything else, it is the cradle of mankind. Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, the Great Serengeti and the Rift Valley is where humanity has its origins. And I think we can play more into making sure that becomes a reality.
You know, Uganda is the pearl of Africa.
That one.
Yeah, the pearl of Africa. Yes, sir.
So now, where would you put William Somei Ruto of Kenya? Which position would you give him?
Ruto, I don't know. Ruto has got two tongues, man. That's the problem. He campaigns. When he's campaigning, he says the right. When he's doing, he does something else that I don't understand. So I'll make him a lecturer.
A lecturer where?
At one of the universities, maybe find a university and make him a lecturer there.
And the part-time one, not a full-time lecture, a part-time. He lectures on invitation.
We want transformation, not good speeches. And he has shaken too many hands that I don't like. He was shaking Trump, he was shaking Macron, and he gets me nervous. Ruto makes me very nervous.
Here you, my elder. Now,
Yeah, what he says in public and what he does in private, I can't confirm.
two different things. Okay, now.
Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me.
No, you are my teacher. You are my teacher. Actually, everything you say before me is correct, and I go with that. I don't even go ahead to.
No, he's thinking.
To
he's
overthink
thinking
about it.
also rhymes with what Julius Marema said of
And I think also in the midst of us discussing these issues of democracy and etc., it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, that our democratic governance structure do not tolerate being challenged or being asked questions. It's almost like we must all believe that democracy is the right thing to do. I mean, we are thinkers, some of us. I don't need to be coerced into believing and thinking what I don't believe.
But
There
again,
must be room.
but again, what type of
Democracy must give.
what type of
Democracy must give
democracy?
room for thinkers.
Yeah, because my question is, my elder, what type of democracy? Because you're talking democracy, but what type of democracy? What works for you as a democracy in America may not be the democracy that works for me in Africa. So who defines what type of democracy?
You're the first person I've heard saying that America is democracy. You're the first person. There's no democracy there. Democracy where a president of a country goes and invades another country and arrests the president there, a democratically elected president. And you arrest him and put him in your prison in America. And that is democracy.
Absolutely not.
And then you go to his country, start stealing oil, siphoning oil.
I'm sorry. We cannot even use America as an example of good governance. Right now, the wars that we are hearing about on internet and etc., America is the sponsor of all those wars.
I hear you.
The world has become a very dangerous place, and our biggest enemy to our growth and development is America. If you look at the circus of the health bills that America is running around the world saying, sign this health bill, sign this health bill, there's nothing to do with the health bill. America wants the resources. So when did the Department of Health become the Department of Commerce?
I hear you. My elder, we are now looking at in that, we are relating it to the state of democracy in the world in regards to how America is currently treating or carrying itself vis-a-vis how it is treating other countries like Ukraine, how it is treating other countries like Venezuela, Iran. But all this happening, Cuba, all this happening, the UN Security Council that is supposed to be the headmaster of all the issues that happen in the world is quiet. ICC, ICJ, when you come to Africa, African Union is quiet when things are happening in the African continent. I am asking myself, do these organizations, international organizations, the continental organizations like African Union, should we really continue paying respect to them?
I sent you a document. I sent you a document there, Irumba.
Yes, let me check it out.
Where you can look and see democracy is one of the youngest forms, especially this neo-colonialism democracy in the 21st century. It is the youngest form of systems and that can still work if the modern people are prepared to think. Unfortunately, we've believed for too long the cut and paste. Whatever America says, whatever Britain says, is what must go. And we're in this mess because as Africans, we're refusing to think beyond what the white man is telling us. Africa is older than America, way older. And why are we listening to young boys, young girls telling us how to run ourselves when we have been here much longer than they have been here?
Who are the boys in this case?
It's like you going to a kindergarten and asking things of adults. How do you do that?
That's what Africa is doing to America.
No, America is doing to Africa.
What you call democracy is just a neo-colonialism project. It's a useless process of keeping Africa busy with the elections. I mean, in my country, in Zimbabwe, people blow up $2 to $3 billion per election. Multiply that by 40 years, and tell me how many hospitals we can build with the 40 billion. How many roads?
Okay, Maeda, let me bring in our brother here, Comrade Daniel Garama. Thank you very much for your submission. If you are busy, you are doing something, because I just got you spontaneously. you could excuse yourself, but if you are okay, you could keep online. Then Comrade Rugarama comes and submits, then I can bring you back on board.
That's okay, my brother.
Okay. Comrade Daniel Rugarama, you have had our elder Bishop Maponga. What is your opinion on the state of the democracy in the world vis-a-vis what America wants the rest of the world to do?
Comrade Irumba, I greatly associate myself with the views that have been expressed by Senior Comrade Joshua Maponga Marara III. He's spot on, no doubt about it. If it were in my abilities, I would actually also say that the model of Traore is a model that should be replicated on the African continent. Actually, we are well over 65 years late.
65 years?
Oh yes, because that is the
late
time
from Traore's model.
From applying the Traore model. Because you see, when you look at it critically, by the way, this that Comrade Traore has employed, and the results that he has achieved, is what the likes of Osejefo, Kwame Nkrumah, and the group were actually fighting for in 1963 at the Organization of African Unity Addis Ababa conference. It was have one government, have one country, call it a continent, but the same uniform leadership. Have these other presidents who are trying to adjust themselves into the seats of the presidency as probably governors or ministers. And this is what Joshua Maponga has just talked about. Then have a currency. You cannot imagine the amount of trouble we go through whenever you just travel a small distance, and each country is pompous for having more or less a useless currency. And you see the rate of conversion. Yes, I agree that as a continent we have tried to address that problem, especially of the currency and the low levels of penetration in terms of trade. Because by 2015 or thereabout, we had the intra-trade levels on the African continent averaging 15%. You can imagine that amongst the African countries who were trading at a percentage of 15%, around that time, Europe was averaging 75 to 78% intra-trade. Now, when would, for instance, Netherlands attack Germany or Germany attack France, when you are trading amongst yourselves at a level of 78, that's a B plus A, if you like. It means that you depend on each other. Now, for us, the 15% that we were talking about, even when, by the way, we had started smoking the bits of regional blocks, regional economic blocks, because by 2015, we had ECOWAS, we had East African Community, EACA, we had SADC, we had, even if of course IGAD also started as an environmental, refugee, health, disaster management kind of body. Later on it started taking on some of these aspects that not only unite the regional members, but also address areas that have to do a lot with the people's lives. And people cannot be happy. For instance, the Happy Index, Africa Happy Index, Uganda Happy Index. This happiness index, by the way, people just take it for granted. But whatever indicators they use, that a people is happy, a family is happy, is a consequence of many factors. So in my view, really, when you look at the state of democracy on the African continent, in particular, then globally, I think it is not healthy. The state of democracy, globally speaking, is not healthy. That I must tell you. Why do I say so? Historically speaking, the state of democracy, what we call democracy, because there are versions of democracies. Somebody at the time that Africa as a continent was colonized, somebody from Europe looked at Africa as a continent that was incapable of having political leadership, mature political leadership, and in their interpretation, we were a backward society. And when you look at all the literature, all the books that were written around that time, you discover one theme that runs through, that Africa was a dark continent. To the extent that even the Boers who went down to South Africa, they started a radio. And in that radio, of course, to make the inhabitants of South Africa look invisible, look useless, look not of any significance, the radio would start with birds. Birds would be making their sounds.
Yes.
And,
sounds of birds.
Exactly. That was to indicate that when they reached in South Africa, the Khoi, the San, all the tribes you know in South Africa, the Ndeveres, all of them were not there. They were only wild birds.
They were birds only.
That's what it meant. So it gives you the impression, therefore, that we start from very wrong premises. From the white man claiming that there were almost nobody in Africa, and in particular that South Africa, you can see the kind of system which they established, apartheid. And apartheid had a constitution. It was a political establishment, supposedly with an ideology, and they governed that territory for so many years, until, of course, the fight against apartheid by the frontline states and other worthy, rational, well-meaning members of society came up, including Uganda here on the African continent, but also not limited to foreign countries like Cuba, which came up and they fought that disaster of a political establishment, and they chased away apartheid. Now, what is happening in South Africa is another story. We are not going to go into it. Of course, it shows you that politics, man, is ever evolving. Sometimes he evolves for wrong reasons. So for me, really, at the end of the day, you had the English, along with the Italians, majority Europe really, who went into America in the 17-something. By 1773, I think, around there, they had killed all the inhabitants of the present-day United States of America, whom they had earlier on referred to as Red Indians, and they had established a society and a leadership which they claimed to be the land of the free. That's what they said, the land of the free. So from that time, all the bodies you see being established, the UN, they say it is to stabilize and give meaning to every human being who establishes a leadership, so that we can all operate in known norms. But see now, since the establishment of the United Nations, do we really play by the book? We don't, because not just the Trump administration, but even before the Trump administration came into place, we had the United States of America, along with other countries which formed the so-called Security Council. And in Security Council, there is a veto. But we have had a country like United States of America, which has gone into the rest of the world. And I think my colleague Joshua Maponga talked about it. Went into the rest of the world and not even recently, from time immemorial. And they have carried out all manner of atrocities and, as a single country, without adhering to any principles of the UN Charter. There are people who are hoodwinked into believing, and they go ahead, by the way, to argue that, for instance, America is an epitome of democracy, that it is a standard measure of universal democracy. But I want again to reiterate what has been known by those people who are everyday thinkers, that be it the United States of America, be it the entire Western Europe, they are a heap of hypocrites. They have never at anyone given a time.
A heap.
Yes,
like a heap of garbage.
A heap of hypocrites. They have never at anyone given a time given a damn about democracy. That when they colonized Africa itself, it was an act of barbarism. That is an act that it can only be carried out by people who are not a civilized society. The so-called democratic principles which they left on the African continent were in no way democratic at all. There is nothing, for instance, that can give you any level of democracy the moment you have been kept economically backward. There is even no argument in whoever wants to claim he is a scholar in saying that we must model our way of life, political or otherwise, on the model of Western Europe or America, because time has exposed their democracy as extremely bankrupt, and therefore what we see in some of the current emerging dispensations like Traore, and this, by the way, is something that had been adopted. It's not a new thing, I must tell you. The likes of Amilcar Cabral, for instance, this is what they had done, you see. But they made sure that that lot, immediately after the regaining of independence, that whole line of the Ben Bera in Algeria, Osejefo Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, of Olympiacos, of Amilcar Cabral, of Thomas Sankara, of, you know, the Mwalimu Julius Nyerere's around that time. All of them, they had to ensure that they were systematically sabotaged. Others had to be eliminated. Others, they had to carry out a coup. And that is why you find that the times from the 60s all the way into a bit of the 70s, we are on the African continent characterized by coups, assassinations, and it was one thing to send a message that we do not like this kind of democracy for you, which you are saying you are bringing on the African continent. Ours that we had established, that is now the former direct colonial master, was that you should remain as conduits through which we can ably extract continue the exploitation of Africa as a continent. So therefore, that has not changed much. If anything, it has deepened and worsened. Because look, the wars you see in Iran, for instance, even the Iran-Iraq war then, the sponsors were there, and their interest was that we keep these countries apart for us to be able to continue siphoning their resources. The war you see, which is the Zionist state of Israel, employed the services of the naive Trump to fight.
You are calling Trump naive?
Well, that's not an insult. I'm simply making a statement. I'm not the first one. I'm also borrowing even his own people, countrymen in the United States of America. That's what they say. So who is me? Who even
That
never
he's naive.
participated? He is naive.
Naive in what?
We are all in political alignment, in the way of looking at the global issues. Politically, really, you cannot say that Trump is refined. He's not. He's not. He himself does not hide the fact that he is politically naive. He is, indeed. He's not. Maybe in his businesses, he may be something, but in politics, he has showed the whole world that he is naive.
Okay,
now,
continue with your point.
Having the point I'm really making there is that when we look at what is happening now, globally speaking, what is happening is that be it the economic embargo on Cuba, be it the handling, the way the America, the regime, that regime of Trump handled Senior Comrade Maduro and his dear wife by kidnapping them, a democratically elected president of a very big country, Venezuela, and putting him in his country there. It gives you an impression that we are at a level, even the people who have been hoodwinking the entire world, that they are at a certain level of understanding how the world should be operating. We have gotten the clear message that they are not what they have been telling the world that they are. It can only be, this is a savagery kind of act. There is no way you can rush into, and when you are lying, you are lying all the way. You rush into another country, then after you line up a group of businessmen to say, now tell me how best can we exploit the oil in Venezuela. And you tell me that the reasons for you to have gone into Venezuela were that Comrade Maduro, for instance, was involved in drugs. I mean, come on, we cannot be that naive, that we fall for such an argument. You put a group of people, a whole country called Cuba, which we know is a very resilient country. The people have for a very long time resisted your uncalled for and silly economic embargo. You are even sanctioning things to do with health, which is, by the way, according to the UN, is an international crime. And then you want us to believe that it's because of dictatorship in Cuba, and you ask yourself, dictatorship as determined by who? You see? So, and that Africa is full of dictators, and because of being full of dictators, and by saying this, by the way, we have got another problem. People think that some of us simply heap our Africa problems to other people, and we do not own up. No, I know that we have got our own problems, and that also now negatively impacts on our state of democracy. But our own democracy does not have to be the democracy as defined by the former colonialists and now imperialists. No. But we have got our own failures. That even the little resources, the comrade Joshua Maponga was telling you here, that in the many years of senior comrade Robert Mugabe, there are many things that were not done, even when he was running that government with the likes of the crocodile, Comrade Mnangagwa, now the president. But he didn't do so many things. How come now, in this short spell, so much, even when Zimbabwe is under economic sanctions, by the way, simply because they disagreed with the English on how to run how to administer the land. So for me, at the end of the day, given the fact that we have not developed our own, or at least we have not reorganized ourselves to form our kind of democracy like the Chinese have done. They don't have to say our model of democracy is a European model. It doesn't have to be that. But see where they are. What is the life expectancy, for instance? What is the ratio of a doctor to patient? What is the literacy levels? What about the state of the innovation, science and innovation? So for us, until and unless as Africa, we address some of these questions and be able, which in my opinion, I think we are trying to do, maybe the question now can be, are we doing enough? Probably not. Because on the issue of economics, we have now improved the intra-trade, and I think we have jumped well from the 15% that we used to be some 12, close to 20 years back, in terms of weak governments. You know, that one is also a disease, that you have got weak states which are vulnerable. When you have got weak states which are vulnerable to attacks, that we have got, all these wars you see, we talk about, is the impact and define the state of democracy. When you look at when we have these currencies, which you move to a different country, had a few meters away, each of us has got a currency. We have at the African Union, we have now have what we call the Pan-African payment mechanism, where we don't need to use the dollar for purposes of trading amongst ourselves as African countries. No, there is that mechanism whereby we directly trade and bypass the dollar, and we have saved so much of each country's resources. So we are moving, we are getting it, but the process may not come so quickly as we think. And I think when we answer the economic question, when we answer the cultural question of looking at ourselves as ourselves, when we answer the question of harnessing our natural resources, science and innovation, ability to harness our own resources, and if we need any help, then it should come on our terms. That way, the question of democracy on the African continent is surely going to be answered as well.
And on that note, Comrade Daniel Garama, don't you think we've come to the end of our today's show? Very much appreciation to you, Comrade Garama here, who has been here physically. Comrade Daniel Garama, thank you so much for your time. But also online, we had the Comrade, our elder brother from Zimbabwe, Harare, Comrade Bishop Joshua Maponga Marara III. Maponga will be a keynote speaker on 29th of August 2026 at Speaker Resort Munyonyo, when we shall be hosting our 9th Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards and the 12th anniversary dinner. We hope to see you there when you actually come around. My name is Andrew Rumba Katusabe, your speaker, and we say, Africa, don't agonize.
Organize.
Don't agonize.
Organize.
Thank you so much.
Free your mind now. Be part of the People's Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
Join renowned Pan-African Bishop Joshua Maponga Marara III from Zimbabwe as the keynote speaker at the 9th Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards 2026 and 12th anniversary dinner, to be held on the 29th of August 2026 at Munyonyo Speak Resort from 2 p.m. The theme is honoring the humanitarian legacy of Comrade Rajiv Ruparelia. Book your dinner card now on 0757 342 317 or 0782 342 317. This is the true awakening of African Renaissance. Come, let's rekindle our roots. Africa, don't agonize, organize. Powered by Ruparelia Foundation, Fairway Hotel, NBS, Afro Mobile, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG, and Kasukulai.